Hello Kitabes, here's another halacha video, and today we're going to be learning about Pesach Sheni. And I put together a little slideshow. I'm going to present it here. And Pesach Sheni means the second Pesach, and we're going to learn all about that. And we're also going to be learning how there's always a second chance. So, on Pesach, we celebrate how Hashem took the Jewish people out of Mitzrayim, out of Egypt, and in the story of Yetzias Mitzrayim, we learn that before they left Egypt, they had a mitzvah of bringing a carbon Pesach, of bringing an offering in honor of Pesach. And not only was that mitzvah done the first time when they left Mitzrayim, but it was a mitzvah to do it every single year afterwards. And the next year, when the Jewish people were in the desert, they had already built the Mishkan, and it came time for Pesach. And the people had a mitzvah of bringing the carbon Pesach again. Now you see here a drawing of the Mishkan, and we learned all about the Mishkan in Parsha earlier this year. Now, in order to go into the Mishkan, you needed to be worthy and you needed to be pure. If someone was impure, he was not able to go into the Mishkan. And the word in Hebrew for impure is tameh, and we'll be using that word. So if someone was tameh, they couldn't go into the Mishkan, and they were not able to bring any sacrifices, any korbanos. Now, how does a person become tameh? How does a person become impure? There are several different ways, but one of the ways, and the example we'll be using in this video, is if someone touched a dead person. Now, why would that happen? And this isn't really a happy thing, but it's part of life. Sometimes if someone is at a cemetery or is helping doing the special mitzvah of burying someone, if someone touched a coffin where a dead person is being buried in, then that person who touched the coffin is tameh. So now let's go back to our story. It was the 14th day of Nisan, and the Jewish people had the mitzvah of bringing the carbon Pesach. And a group of people came up to Moshe Rabbeinu and said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe Rabbeinu, we are tameh, we're impure, and we can't bring the carbon Pesach. What should we do? Now, why were they impure? They were impure because they were the ones who were carrying Joseph's bones from Egypt to Eretz Yisrael. If you remember the story of Yetzias Mitzrayim, before the Jewish people left Mitzrayim, Moshe Rabbeinu had to take Joseph's bones out of Egypt and take them into the desert, and eventually they'd go into Eretz Yisrael so they could be buried in Eretz Yisrael. Before Joseph passed away, he commanded the Jewish people that eventually when Hashem would take the Jewish people out of Mitzrayim, don't forget about me, take my bones out of Mitzrayim and bring them to Eretz Yisrael. So now this group of people were tameh because they were doing this special mitzvah of carrying Yosef's bones. And they came to Moshe Rabbeinu and they said, Moshe Rabbeinu, what should we do? So this was a good question. Moshe Rabbeinu said to them, wait here and I will listen to what Hashem tells me. And this was a very big mitzvah that the people wanted to do. They wanted to bring a carbon Pesach, but they couldn't because they were tameh. And they're like, what should we do? We did this very big mitzvah of carrying Yosef's bones, etc. But why should we lose out on doing this other important mitzvah? We didn't do something wrong. We were doing one mitzvah. Why should we lose another very important mitzvah, bringing a carbon Pesach? So Moshe Rabbeinu told them, wait here, and I will listen to what Hashem tells me. And Hashem comes to Moshe Rabbeinu. He says, Moshe Rabbeinu, I'm teaching the Jewish people a new mitzvah. That if someone was tameh on the 14th day of Nisan and could not bring the carbon Pesach in the proper time, I will give them a Pesach Sheni, a second Pesach, a second chance. And that will happen on the 14th day of Iyar. Exactly 1 month after the first Pesach, there will be a second Pesach where the people who couldn't do it the first time can do it the second time and bring a carbon Pesach. And Pesach Sheni, the only mitzvah that was done on Pesach Sheni was that people would bring a korban Pesach, a Pesach offering, if they couldn't do the first one. Nowadays, we don't bring any karbanos, we don't bring any sacrifices because we don't have a mizbeach. But the way we celebrate it is by eating some matzah. If you have some leftover matzah, you can eat some matzah. If you don't have any matzah, that's okay too. It's not an obligation to eat matzah like it is on Pesach about a month ago. But some people commemorate Pesach Sheni by eating matzah. But I want to take a minute to talk about the lesson we could learn from this. Two very important lessons. Lesson number one, how dear a mitzvah is to people, how special it is to do a mitzvah, and how badly these people wanted to do a mitzvah. They could have just said, oh, well, we're Tameh, we can't do the Korban Pesach. Oh, well, maybe next year we'll get another chance. But that's not what they did they? They went to Moshe Rabbeinu and they said, Moshe Rabbeinu, why should we lose out the opportunity of doing a mitzvah? So we learn from here how precious mitzvahs are. If we have an opportunity to do a mitzvah, let's try to do it. Don't let it pass you by. And the second lesson that we learn from Pesach Sheni is that there's always a second chance. These people weren't able to do it the first time, but Hashem gave them an opportunity to do it a second time. And that's a lesson for all people at all times, that sometimes we make mistakes and we miss opportunities, or we make poor choices and we do the wrong thing. But don't think, oh, it's too late, I can never make up, I'll never be able to fix it, I'll never have another chance. This story from the Chumash tells us that there's always a second chance. It's never too late, and we could always have a Pesach Sheni, we could always have a second chance, and maybe even a third chance. And Hashem is always waiting for us to come back and try again, and Hashem will always give us an opportunity to try again and a second chance to do the right thing. So, everyone, have a great day and stay well. I will see you again soon. Bye bye.